Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn how to write iterators. So we've already seen several examples of iterations with things like while loops and for loops. And today we're going to learn how to create our own custom behaving for loops. Informally speaking, an iterable object is an object that can be for looped, and an iterator is a companion object which does the for looping. So we have a bunch of different types of container objects. We got lists, we got tuples, we got sets, we got dictionaries, and each of these have an accompanying for loop, which all works a little bit differently. But for example, we can have a list L equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we could say for let's say for L and L, print L and L squared. And this will do a nice little for loop each line of the iteration and prints out a nice beautiful tuple of 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 9, 4, 6, 5, 25. And the fact that you can take a loop over a container is something that is so natural that we are tempted to take it for granted. And I'm going to try to get you to do today is to get you to not take this for granted, and also to show how it works and how you can make things iterate the way you want to iterate. So let's get started by defining a class called a reverse list. So we do class reverse list, def underscore underscore init underscore underscore. And this is going to have one member variable, which is itself, and another member variable, which is going to be a list. And we're going to set self.l equal to L. And we're going to want to be able to print this list. So let's give it a struct magic method, underscore underscore str underscore underscore, struct of self. And when we print the reversed list, we're going to want it just to print the list. So we're going to have it return the same thing as the struct magic method of the list, which is struct of self.l. So already we can do things like this. We can say R is equal to 1, 2, 3. So now R is a reverse list. We can check that the type of R is we need to say R is equal to reverse list of 1, 2, 3. And we can check that the type of R is a reverse list. And we can already go ahead and print R. However, what we can't do is the following. For R in R, print R. Warning, this is going to give a nasty error message. Alrighty. Reverse list object is not iterable. And so this is the first point, is that reverse list, it looks like a list. It's a container. It's got stuff in it. But we did not give it an iter magic method, and therefore it is not yet an iterable object. So let's give it one. It'd be a lot cooler if we could for loop our reverse list. And really what we're going to want is we're going to want for R and R, print R. We're going to want this to be a reverse list, so we're going to want it to print 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Not actually blast off. So to make it iterable, we need to write the iter magic method. So to do that, this part here is actually quite easy. The problem is that we are pushing all of the hard work down the road. So we do underscore underscore iter, underscore underscore, colon self, colon, indented block, and this is just going to be one line, return reverse list iterator of self. So this so far is correct, but we haven't actually said what the heck a reverse list iterator is. So we need to write a companion class called reverse list iterator, which is actually going to do all of the work. So we do class reverse list iterator. And this object is what's going to do all of the actual work of iterating over our class. So we do def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self. This is our initializer, which is going to create the list. And so the reverse list iterator is going to act on itself, of course, and it's also going to act on a reverse list, which we're going to call RL. So then we have def init self RL. So we do self dot L equal RL dot L. And now we need to put on our thinking cap a little bit. We're not done yet. Don't press enter. So the reverse list iterator needs three things. We should put this in a nice little dock screen so that way it doesn't affect our performance. Rule for where to start. I'm going to do the third thing second, a rule for when to stop. And two, if you are at a current position, the rule for where to go next. And yeah, let's maybe re-put these back in the natural order. So we need a rule for where to start, a rule that says if you're in a current position where you go next, and a rule for when to stop. So in the initializer, well, this is our starting of the object, so we need a rule for where to start. And so we are going to set self.index. Self.index is going to be our starting position, or it's going to start at our starting position. And since this is a reverse list iterator, we are going to start at the length of self.L minus 1, where the minus 1 is because we index from 0. So the length of self.L minus 1 is going to be the last one of the last point in our list. This variable stores the current condition. Start at end because it's a reverse list. All right. And now the other part, the key other part to any iterator class is you need a next magic method. And the next magic method is what is used for this item here, item number 2. So we do def underscore underscore next underscore underscore self colon. And now we can see why I was tempted to write rule 3 or item 3 before item 2. And that's because we're going to do item 3 next. So if self.index is less than 0, okay, this is going to be our stopping criteria. We're going to want to start at the last position and the second last position, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Position 2, position 1, position 0. But we don't want it to try to print anything after the 0th item because we've already printed everything. So we're going to say if self.index is less than 0, raise stop iteration. So stop iteration is the command that makes you stop iterating. And outside of this if, we're going to say self.index minus equals 1. And if we were trying to loop forward, we'd be saying self.index plus equals 1, but we're trying to go backwards. So we're saying that our position goes back 1 space, move position back 1 space. And then the next method should return something. It's going to return self.L Okay, so it's going to return an item from the underlying list. And this is going to be self.index. And now we need to make sure we don't have an off by 1 error. And we can see that if we were running this for the first time, at the very start of the next method, we would be in the last position, but we already moved backwards 1 spot before we got to this line. So we need to add in a +1 to avoid the off by 1 error. So now let's test this out and see if it works. Okay, so we got R is equal to reverse list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go for R in R, print R. And if we have done this correctly, it's going to count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hooray! We did it. Honestly, this is a tough test of typing and talking at the same time, so I'm actually very happy that I was able to get that to work on the first time. Okay. So now let's add in some print statements just to kind of increase our understanding of the order that things are executed in. So this is not something you would actually really do if you were writing your own function, but this is going to help us kind of understand what's going on. So we're going to print reverse. Let's have this print underscore underscore iter underscore underscore colon is called. So now every time this underscore underscore iter function is called, we're going to print that message. And let's also give print messages associated to all of the other methods. So we have underscore underscore init is called. And we're going to have print underscore underscore next is called. And let's also give a nice print when we're stopping. Print stopping now. So now we're going to again let R be a reverse list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to say for R in R, print R. Don't press enter yet. Okay. Before you press enter, let's pause and try to think how many times it's going to print all of this stuff. So how many times is it going to run this line here? I think it's only going to run it once because we're actually only creating the list object once. How many times is this going to be called? Well, this is what is creating the reverse list iterator. So this is also only going to be called once. The next magic method, this is going to be called every darn item. And stopping, we're only going to stop once. You only stop once. So what we see is that iter and init are only called once. Next is called once for each item. And then it actually tries to call next again after we're done. But it gets into the function and it checks this condition. And since the index is less than 0, it stops. So that way it knows to stop printing. Alrighty, that's it for today. I will see you guys again next time.